We saw the light for the first time after the explosion. We had long been in a comforting gloom, full of hues, memories, and symbols of all kinds. We lived at the zenith of a stone carving, all together, connecting its matter with a world of ideas. There, we perceived the flickering shadows of those tremulous shapes that filtered through the only 2 points of light that connected us with the world, so mysterious to us then. We knew that words were articulated around us because our characteristics of proto-essences contained in works of art had that code engraved in certain fibers. That night that ended that magical darkness forever seemed terribly restless. Different languages were intertwined around us, and excited discussions took place. Suddenly, a deafening roar came progressively closer, accompanied by shouts, howls, and the clashing of metal. At that moment, the light flooded everything. We felt the atmosphere full of dust and heard the stone projectiles hitting the ground. When we regained our vision, we realized that we had lost most of our people. There were only 4 of us left: cognitionis, mortem, natura, and myself, a mortem, forming an oscillating chain of essences that hung precariously from a thin marble needle. The mutilation. We began our exile descending by a sloping white marble monolith. Its slippery surface hurried us down a convex slide with massive proportions, which echoed of ancient tectonic plate collisions. We were then diverted to the side of what looked like the comforting bed of an ancient river that led us into a deep cavity in which we thought we would lose ourselves forever. One night, in that lake of darkness, while the others rested before resuming our exile, I thought I glimpsed in cognitionis a flash of crystalline dust, melting into a halo of light. I understood then that our destiny as essences was gradually being materialized, particle by particle, in the sordid world of the immortal and transitory reality. I said nothing to the rest. The next stage of our journey offered us landscapes of infinite undulant plains, like the deserts of Mars. Finally, we arrived to a ramification that predicted a decision of unimaginable consequences. The others looked at me with their newly acquired pair of veiled eyes, flooded with the acceptance against which I was tirelessly fighting. That was the last time I saw them head on. With long, heavy strides, they headed towards one end of that huge, eccentric stalactite which pointed into the void. As they approached the extreme, and in a sequence of languid movements, they gradually crystallized into solid marble protrusions, immobile for the rest of eternity. I headed for the opposite end, and before I reached the edge, I stopped. I began to feel a tingly sensation off the smooth edges of my absent limbs, those which I had struggled so hard not to develop. The feeling soon reached my core as I slowly became volatile. I took one last look back at the shell that had been my home for centuries, that which my companions had already become a part of, and was now a mutilated landscape of tortured limbs. A final crackle arose from within me, and like a mountain of ash in the spinning rays of the last afternoon sun, I dissolved into infinite particles that began their journey to all the corners of the universe.